In this video, we're going to see how we can access the pop-up JSON definition from the item object data. So open up the popup JSON.py script from the popups folder. We're going to use the item object getData method to get the current popups information for our feature layers and tables in our feature service. Now, the popups info must exist in the feature service item data. There is currently no way to get pop-up information from the feature layer object. Along with the GIS class up the top, we are also importing the JSON module from the standard Python library. This will just allow us to print a dictionary to screen in an easier to read mode than a standard dictionary. First, access ArcGIS Online using our GIS class and supplying the home string. We'll assign our GIS object to a variable called AGOL. We're going to use our GIS object, content manager get method, and supply in our feature service item ID, which I'll paste in now from my notepad. The get method will return an item object that will assign to a variable called item. To print the pop-up for our layers, we're going to create a dictionary using dictionary comprehension. This is not necessary, but there is no layer name in the get data. There's only a layer ID, so we're going to match the layer ID to a layer name. So our dictionary is going to be the layer ID and the layer name, as you can see here. 0 for trail viewpoints, 1 for park trails, 2 for park boundaries, and 3 for county boundaries. So our key will be the ID and the value will be the name for each layer in our item object. I'm going to call the getData method for the item object to return dictionary definition for the item object. I'm going to assign the calling of the getData to a variable called item data. The item data has a property called layers, which is a list of dictionaries where each dictionary represents a single layer. So for each layer in our item data layers property, we're going to use the ID key for the layer dictionary to print the layer name to screen from our feature layer ID dictionary. Now we're going to use the JSON.dumps method and supply in the layer entry popupInfo key. This popupInfo represents the popup for each layer. I will set an indent of equal to 4, so it is printed out neatly. We then do the exact same for our tables. We get our table ID dictionary where the key of 4 is park maintenance information and 5 is our viewpoint reviews. Once more, we call the getData method. Now we don't actually have to do this again because we'd have the item data from the first run up here. I was originally going to run these separately, but I'm going to run them at the same time. From our item data, we are accessing the tables property, which is a list of dictionaries defining the tables. Once more, we use the ID to get the table name from the table ID dict, and we print the table popup info to screen using our JSON.dumps. So I'm going to run this script. Our script is complete. I'm just going to move the Python interpreter so we can see a bit more, and I'll head up to the top. First up was our trail viewpoints. We have our pop-up elements. Pop-up elements is a list of elements as dictionaries. The first one here is a fields element that represents the list of fields and their values in the pop-up. We scroll down, that is all that we have for that pop-up. In fact, it is all we have for each of our pop-up elements is the fields list. Keep scrolling down. Same for park boundaries. Same for our county boundaries. And then we're into our tables. Same for our park maintenance information and the same for our viewpoint reviews. We've successfully accessed the pop-up definition for each of our feature layer and tables in ArcGIS Online using the ArcGIS API for Python. Make sure to continue on to the next video in this series and also make sure to subscribe. Take care.